What's up, everybody? Welcome to another interview by the Sunday Sauce Podcast. Boys, we got a big one today. Two-time Elite Eight participant, including a Final Four of the University of Michigan. I know we got some big-time Michigan listeners on here. He's played in the G League, played in the Dominican, and he's still grinding, working with kids, building an app. Wants to get back and continue playing, though. He's pumping the iron, getting stronger day by day. We got Mr. Jon Horford. How are you, sir?
That was pretty good. I'm doing well.
Good. I try hard to do that. I practice in the mirror before every interview to make sure I ring in everyone the right way.
I believe it. I would have opened, I think, 2 Big Ten championships is better than two Elite Eights. But,
there you go.
But 2 Elite Eights, that's accurate.
Cool. I'm open to feedback at all times.
No,
so
that's accurate.
It is. You're good.
Not accurate, but I would say
the Big Ten championships are huge. You got to throw those in there.
I would say 2 Big Ten championships is better, but that's okay. I mean, it's whatever. I don't know.
For sure.
Nothing matters.
For sure. So I'm a big fan, before we get into it, of the Horford family. I work for the New Jersey Devils. Our ownership also owns the 76ers. So as soon as your brother went to the Sixers last year, I mean, it was a short stint. I wish he was there longer because I'm a big fan. And so I bought an Al Horford jersey. Got it for Christmas. Cool. So big fan of the family. Just want to throw it in there. Nice. And I'll get to talk to you. It's our pleasure here. And I know our fans are pumped up. I texted a bunch of my Michigan buddies who one I work with and a couple that I know went to Michigan. Like, hey, you got Jon Horford coming on soon. So they were pumped up to hear that for sure.
Yeah. No, not bad. Yeah. So you're one of the 47 Philly fans that don't hate Al. That's good to hear.
Yeah. So yeah, listen, I've always loved Al. Well, listen, the Philly fan base, there's no question they're they're insufferable with every sport. And I work with a ton of them. They're crazy.
Dude, it's like they didn't understand who he is and what his game is, because they're like, what the fuck is this? And it's it's literally what he's always done everywhere, and they've had success. He's always been who he is. He's not a flashy dude. He just gets shit done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So it's just interesting, but I know that people don't necessarily watch basketball to try to understand the game itself, and they're watching it more for entertainment value.
Sure.
So if you're just watching it for entertainment value, I could get why you're pissed. But if you're watching it and you actually understand and appreciate the game, then you have to appreciate a player like Al. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm biased, but I'm also very brutally honest. So.
Mm-hmm. So before I let Joey speak, because I'm doing a lot of speaking, my favorite team to play with back in 2K was when he was on the Hawks. So that was my favorite 2K team.
Was it really?
With Joe Johnson. Yeah, I don't know why. And Josh Smith, they were like a cheat code in 2K. So that's back when I had the Horford love. But Joey, you're here as well, brother. I'll let you say a few words.
I'm here. I'm ready to rip. I'll dive into it. You want to start by saying that I know that your family has obviously very strong Dominican heritage, and being that your dad was the first player from the Dominican to play in the NBA. So I kind of want to start there and just kind of get what it means to you and your family to kind of, I feel almost be like the Dominican ambassadors for the NBA, because there aren't many Dominican-born players that play in the league. I think it's only probably your brother and you, and I don't even know who else in the league right now. And all time, it really isn't that many players. So just what does that mean to you and your family to kind of be the reps from the DR playing in the NBA family?
Well, one, I barely count. I probably had the shortest NBA stint in NBA history. So
we're still counting.
You're there.
I had a jersey. I signed a contract. I mean, these things are facts. But there's been a few, not a lot. Luis Flores played in the NBA. Karl Towns is Dominican.
Yeah, I saw it too, actually.
Trevor Ariza is Dominican. I think Carmelo Anthony is one of his parents is Dominican. There's a few Dominicans out there. Charlie Villanueva is Dominican. Man, there's a decent list. It's not a super long list, but the Dominican is on the rise. Francisco Garcia is another guy who played in the NBA from the Dominican. Yeah, I don't know, the whole basketball culture in the Dominican. It's mostly a baseball culture. They churn out baseball pros like nobody's business, and they're starting to develop better basketball players as well. And would expect in the upcoming years for there just to continue to be more and more Dominican players. There are really good Dominican players playing all over the world right now, not just in the NBA, but in some of the, top European leagues and stuff. And I know a bunch of them, play with a bunch of them, good dudes, good basketball players. So, I mean, it's always nice to I don't know, be a part of something like that, especially from a country that's not necessarily known for one particular sport. And it's kind of like on the rise. But yeah, obviously my dad led the way when it came to that stuff. And then my brother is, set the bar high. The only person who's probably going to set it higher is Carl Towns, because he's a machine. But
he's a beast.
Yeah, love all around for all of them, man. There's none of them that I can think of that I dislike. So
awesome. Then it kind of just going off, I know Frank obviously mentioned top of the show, you actually got a chance to play over there. I think after school, you went to go play in the DR for a bit. So what was that like for you? Obviously having the family ties. How's that for you playing over there for?
Oh, I'm going to be honest. So there's like this, they do like a summer league. It was like a 2-month, 3-month league. I don't know, because I never stayed the whole time. I left both times because I hated it. It's fucking horrible. Can I swear on this?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, good.
Dude, it was fucking terrible. The first time we stayed in this place called San Francisco. It's like in the middle of fucking nowhere. The people were nice for the most part. The people were they were good people. The league, whoever runs the league, I have an issue with. I remember there'd be games where I'd grab like 16 rebounds. They'd be like, 7, like on the stat sheet. And I'd just be like, dude, I would get the film and count them out and send them into the league and be like, all right, like it's here. Can I do this? Like, can you guys change this stuff? And they never did. And it was more so like the living for me though. Which a lot of people are like, oh, you got to suck that up. Like, when you play in different countries, like sometimes like the living situations aren't the best. But for me, I was just like, it's just not worth it for me to continue to stay here. And then my second stint, I ran into general manager and an owner that were, and I've known them for a long time, which is unfortunate. And they're family friends, but they were just like pieces of shit. Like, I wasn't the only person who left. Like, I made good friends every time I went, though. Like, I met some really good guys that were playing over there, some really good pros that were playing over there when I was there. And I'm still friends with, them. But, and they left, a couple of them left too, just because the GM and the owner were screwing so many people over, which is something that happens a lot when you deal with foreign basketball. But, I mean, that's just like part of it, and I just don't tolerate it. Like if that stuff starts happening, I'm just like, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not gonna sit here and like, well, let's work this out. Like I'm gonna go fucking home.
Right.
It's not.
I mean, it's crazy for like a smaller league. Obviously, I think you'd want to, if anything, you want to like inflate the stats and like make them like pad them higher than have guys like undersell them. You want to get your talent out there. That's crazy to me.
And that's the thing. I know they did that for some players. I don't even want that. I just want what I earn. Like,
right. I know.
I don't want
very obvious.
Yeah. Like, I just want what I earned. Like, come on, dude. Like, don't do this to me. Like, it's bullshit. It was super petty, but good people. Like I said, every time I went down and I made friends that, I'm still friends with. And my main thing in life is just, creating relationships with people, helping people out how I can, and just, going from there. Like, that's the best part of life to me. So the fact that I was able to make some memorable, some decent memories, and then to, forge some lasting friendships, that makes it enough for me.
Love it. And before we go back to the basketball career, you just mentioned how much you enjoy building relationships and helping other people out. And something you've done recently over the past couple of years, and what Dylan Cycle, shout out him for helping us out, getting you on here. You created an app called Blueprint Athletes. First of all, I want to know, did you create the app yourself? If so, that's amazing. I'd love to hear how you were to physically able to create an app from scratch. And secondly, just learn more about the insight on it, how you're going to separate yourselves from other training apps, and how that's been going since the launch of it.
So the version of the app that we have out now is basically our first version of the app. And I did not create it. I do not know how to code. So I did not do that, but I structured it. I mean, most of it is, I didn't design it either. I hired a graphic designer to do that, but I worked with them every step of the way to make sure that the app was what I wanted it to be. That's not on the first version. This first version was just like our MVP model. And it's just been out for much longer than I'd like it to be, just because it's been tough to find a really good developer, but I finally found one he's from Ohio actually. And he's been awesome. So the new version of the app is coming out. It's awesome. It's really, it's a clean user experience. And basically the way that I try to separate, the way that we're going to separate ourselves is just, you know, the way that everything is structured and our main focus within the app. So we're trying to develop, you know, tougher, more resilient, more, you know, self-reliant people that players that don't have to rely on other people to get better, players who know how to get themselves better and understand the game. And there's a heavy focus on fundamentals. Like I remember when talking to my developer about it, I'm just like this is an app that like Kobe Bryant would love. Like, cause anyone who knows like the Kobe Bryant training story is like, he's so particular about fundamentals and repeating things and getting the reps and, you know, going for perfect reps and stuff versus going out there and trying to like look sweet, 15 between the legs, spin, step back, fade away. And it's just like, no, let's just be like amazing with the fundamentals. And then we can build on it from there, like, and add that other type of stuff. So basketball wise, it's structured. If you follow the main guides, and then we have strength conditioning, weight room, we have strength conditioning at home. And then we also have like mental focus type drills that they're really just audio clips that talk about like specific situations that most players will run into and just kind of explain, you know, how to think about things, or, you know, how to potentially react, or why reacting, you know, negatively in this situation will, you know, hurt the entire team. Like there's a bunch of different types of scenarios. So our main focus isn't just, you know, like, yeah, we want a clean user experience. We want people to enjoy it. We want people to use it, but we want to provide people with a way to actually get better. Like my thing is I'm the same way in training. I want to be able to take any kid that wants to get better and be able to get them better. Any kid that's been cut from a team, I want to be able to take that kid and develop them so the next year they can make the team. Will they necessarily be the star? Not always, but sometimes they have been. Often they have been, actually. So it's possible. So just kind of giving kids hope. And then there are like some new features within it, like being able to create teams. You can customize workouts within the app. So if you like the way that we have guides, they're set up, they're month long. I know I'm rambling right now, but
it's all interesting.
No, this is awesome.
Yeah. So we have guides right now. Every guide is a month long. So you can take any drill you want from a guide right now and be like, okay, I'm going to add this to my plan. So as a coach, you could be like, okay, my player, he really struggles with, you know, one dribble pull-ups and finishing at the rim. So you can pick specific drills, and there's hundreds of drills on there. You can pick specific drills and send it to that player directly within the app, and they just click it, and it'll be like, and it'll just list out all the drills that they have to do. You can put them in order. You know, there's sets and reps recommended, but you can do whatever you want. If you want extra, you can do extra. And then there are features where you can log your statistics. It's not like an automatic, you have to like put it in, but it's really super simple. Like it's like for this drill, you need 10 makes. So then you just have to put how many attempts, and then it gives you percentages for, you know, layups, mid-range, free throw, three, rangefinder, which is anytime you're shooting at multiple distances. So if you have a layup and a mid-range shot within a drill, it'd be a rangefinder, or a three in a mid-range. So there are a lot of ways to customize it, which was my main focus on this most recent update, because I spent 2 years, and that's actually how I met Dylan, going around the Midwest in my off season and just going to schools and to teams and training kids for free, just because I wanted to do the research myself. What's missing? What's the disconnect here? Why are kids that say they want, like you go into a gym, like who wants to play college basketball? Me, like, you know, who wants to start on your team? Me. Like but what are you doing to get there? Like,
Mhm.
do you understand what you need to do? Do coaches understand what you need to do? And what I found was the majority of coaches actually don't put too much time into skill development. And most players do not know what they need to do to actually develop. So the app answers that for, players and coaches. And it's in a structured and customizable way. Because one of the things I found out with coaches, one of the biggest insights was that a lot of coaches wanted the credit for, their players improving and didn't necessarily want other people coming in and having, outside people improve their players and taking credit for their players' development, which isn't super surprising, but it was one of the biggest insights that I made in all of my travels. And I mean, I worked with thousands of players, easily over 100 teams. And yeah, I mean, there's just a big disconnect, and there's so many people that are thrown into these coaching positions, especially at like the elementary school and middle school levels, even in the high school levels. They're just like, oh, I'm just a dad, or I'm a teacher, and it was just the position was open. They don't actually know what to do. Like, I feel like it's actually the majority of coaches. Like, and there are some excellent coaches out there. And Dylan's an excellent coach. He does a really good job. The guy TJ we were talking about, he does a really good job before the start. But the majority of coaches need a little bit of help. So I really think that the app provides that help, that structure, that customization, so you can work based on individual players and what that they need. And as a coach, you can create it, you can put it together, you can give them the structure and the guidance. And you don't actually have to hold their hand through everything, but you can say, all right, these are the drills I need you to do. You can make a whole month plan on there. If I'm a coach and I want to make you a plan for a month, I can make you a plan for a month. And it's like, all right, this is your plan for this month. You're going 4 days a week, and these are the drills that you're going to do. Then there's also the strength conditioning component to everything, because, a lot of players don't lift. So if you don't lift or you don't have access, the at-home strength conditioning stuff is great. The at-home strength conditioning stuff is actually put together by a buddy of mine named Mike Morrison. He was when Al was with the Atlanta Hawks, he was one of the strength coaches. So he put that together. And then John Sanderson, the head strength coach at Michigan, put together the weight room strength conditioning stuff. So it's all really good stuff. And on top of all that, the basketball stuff for the most part is just they're drills that I've gotten from my time when I've been playing. So, I played for John Beilein 4 years. I played for Billy Donovan for a year. 2 summers I did Dominican national team at University of Kentucky with Coach Calipari. So it's like getting these drills used by these top guys, putting them together. What are the most fundamental, beneficial drills that I can use to help get players everywhere better, and put it all together?
This app sounds amazing. I think the fact that you can customize it like that is going to be key for you. I can picture going back, like playing basketball in or any sport in middle school, like the coach would print off like a one size fits all. Like, okay, everyone gets the same drills, the same workout. Like, well, I might be good at what this guy stinks at, and he might be good at what I stink at. Like, how are we going to work off the same, like the same skill, like the same drills? So the fact that you can pick and choose, that part sounds really cool.
I don't know. I appreciate that. I really hope that, a lot of coaches will take advantage of it. And I'm sure that they will, because even with that first version that I don't love necessarily, we had a good amount of downloads on that. And the user experience with this one is so much better. And then, like you said, the customization is just so much better versus just like a template, like, all right, everyone go do these 4 drills. Like, all right, you're weak in this, so you need to do this, or this is where you get most of your shots within the offense, so this is what you need to do. Like, you can really, really direct it in a way that's going to help benefit programs, teams, coaches. Like, everyone wins.
That sounds awesome.
That's huge. I mean, and especially during COVID too, like a lot of times for the first 6 months that there was no in-person interaction too. So people had to get used to using apps, using online trainers. So I think this app fits hand in hand perfectly with an issue that you're solving right now of people need training during a time when they may not be able to travel. They may not be able to play these tournaments. They may not be able to practice like they usually can. So what you're doing is going to be huge for these kids who are going to be trying to get better over this time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you and I appreciate that. And another thing to just think about, because a lot of this is just, and what I'm trying to do with the app, especially the mental focus stuff, is just change the way that people think about basketball and training. A lot of it is, even if you have a trainer, you could still benefit from the app, because most people who have a trainer, you're paying between like $30 up to like some trainers are like 100 plus like a session. You're going 2 to 3 times a week. Like you could use the app 2 times a week just to touch up on your skill work. And even as a trainer, I would recommend as a trainer for kids to like, dude, yes, use the app, touch up on your skills. Because the better they get at their skills, when I'm not holding their hand and working with them, the better I look as a trainer and the easier it makes my job, because they're developing themselves outside of our training sessions, which you know, I mean, if you guys play college sports, to get to that level, it's hard to put in minimal effort and get to any college level, which is another common misconception. It's like, oh, you know, like D1's the only hard level and all the other levels are easy to get to. It's like, that's so not true. It's not even close to being true.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are dogs, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO, like dogs in all sports. Like, so it's just changing the way that people think about it. It's big.
It's huge. Getting me fired up. I want to get back out there and start playing. Turn back the clocks.
You can play so you're like 60, 70.
That's true. Yeah. Well, we play. I mean, I was a baseball guy, but like I love playing hoops. We play before COVID hit. We would do once a week. We would play at St. Benedict's Prep, which was J.R. Smith's high school in Jersey. Mm-hmm. And then at the Prudential Center, when Seton Hall's court was down, we would play every week. So like we got all of our coworkers playing. We missed that. Go. So when we're back, I'm going to need the app. I'm going to sign up for it. Get the game right. So I did want to walk it back to the college days. So when you were in college, Joey and I were in high school, and we graduated 2013. And I think, and Joey, maybe this is the same for you, like during that 4-year span of high school and even in the college, that was the most I've ever paid attention to college basketball, like so in depth. Like knew every team, top 25. Like when I was picking tournament teams, I was so certain, like if I knew all these teams. So in that runs right along the time when you were there, making the Final Four, making 2 Elite Eights. So I'd love to hear more about the chemistry you had in that team, because there's over 300 teams in college hoops. So the fact that you're able to make it to the Final 8 2 years in a row, like that says a lot, not only about the coaching staff, the way you guys play, but your chemistry as a whole. So I'd love to kind of hear how the team was structured, how the team works together during that time to continue getting back to playing such a high level. Oh, not to forget to mention the 2 Big Ten championships as well. I know I missed that from the jump.
Yeah, and that. I mean, at that time, we were big on just culture and, you know, accountability from the coaches, but also, you know, as a team, we felt like we could check each other. We felt like we could compete, and really, like, you know, some days it'd be like an absolute dogfight, like elbow someone in the face, want to grab someone by their jersey and chuck them to the ground, like just going at each other, ripping each other's throats out. But knowing that we were trying to push each other to get to a point where, you know, it didn't matter who we played, because what we were doing in practice, the time we were putting in, the attention to detail, the amount of film, the hours in the weight room, were going to pay off. Like we were going to work harder than everybody else. We were going to try to outcompete everybody. And we just had a good group. You know, we had good groups. Both those groups were really good teams. You know, no one on those teams where I'm like, oh man, you know, except for that guy, I fucking hate that guy. Like, you know, all good dudes, all competitors, all people who wanted to win. It was, yeah, I mean, it was a good time to be there. And we were a recovering program at the time. I remember my freshman year at Michigan, to start the year, we started kind of rough, especially Big Ten. I think we lost like our first 4 games, and the stands were like almost empty. And then we made a run at the end and ended up making the NCAA tournament by the end. And for the rest of our, you know, the time I was at Michigan, it was like packed every game. Like, you know, people started to really buy in and to believe. And obviously we're winning games, so they'd actually want to show up, because if you start losing games, they would stop showing up for sure again. But yeah, I don't know. It was a good time to be there.
I feel like you guys also kind of like bridge the gap of like the Fab Five until like you guys, like Michigan basketball wasn't like kind of a thing. I feel like by you guys until now, like Michigan's like a blue blood, like winning all every year almost basketball school. So you guys start off a good trend for just the school in general.
I mean, I would agree with that for sure. There was a little rise, probably Zach Novak and Stu Douglas's freshman year, I think, with Manny Harris and Deshaun Sims, where they made the tournament. And then the next year they didn't make the tournament. And then we came back in, and then we made the tournament 4 years in a row, 2 Big Ten championships, went to the national championship game. And then Michigan basketball has pretty much been, one of the top programs in the country since then.
Yeah, they're a little pause right now too, which is crazy. They're balling present day as well.
Yeah.
Big Ten.
Yeah. They're a little, people I've talked to are a little frustrated about that, but I mean, they're just taking the COVID precautions seriously. I think the frustration comes from the fact that the person who tested positive wasn't on the basketball team or any basketball team, and it was some other sport. But they had brought back like the British variant of COVID, so they just shut everything down for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but that's almost done. I feel like it's been like a week. Or something. They'll be back in like a week or less.
Let's hope so.
Mm-hmm.
But so I want to ask you about, obviously you had a great run at Michigan. You guys, your teams were awesome there. I'm sure you were obviously, as you mentioned, the practice got heated. You were emotionally invested in that team. So can you walk us through what it was like to transfer to Florida for your grad year? What kind of went through your head making that choice, and just what was your experience going from Michigan to Florida?
So the reason why I had transferred was pretty much just, it's a long-ish story, I guess. So Coach Beeline, I'll make it quick. Coach Beeline had, he had these like tests that you had to pass to play in the season, like a combination of like coordination drills, shooting drills, conditioning drills. So you have to pass all these tests before you're allowed to play. And I just remember it was like the beginning of the season, we were playing. I was starting. There was a few games in, and Mitch, and I love Mitch McGarry. He's a big goofball. He's a good kid. He hadn't practiced or really done much. Like he was rehabbing, but he hadn't gone through like the proper protocols. And Coach Beeline, to set it up, like he's very, very strict about this stuff. Like he's all about the rules, like to an insane degree almost. But he let him slide on that, and it just kind of bothered me. So then part of me was like, I can't trust you for this 5th year, because he was like, oh, for this 5th year, like, you're going to get, everything I've been promising you kind of thing, or,
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't want anything given to me. Like, I just want to earn it. Like, and I don't think if you ask any of my Michigan teammates, like if you ask them like, about the hardest workers on the team, I have to be up there. Like I have to be up there without a doubt. So I didn't want anything given to me, but I just didn't know if I could trust him. And then the other thing was, when I had mentioned that I was, thinking about transferring, he never came. Like I lived right down the street from Chrysler. Like you could walk to my house from Chrysler.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I've made the walk. It's not a great walk. My point is like, they were close enough to where if he wanted to come over to my house and like try to talk to me about it, be like, John, I was like the captain on the team the year before that.
Right.
So I was just like, he never showed up. He never, whatever. So I was just like, he must really not want me there that badly.
I think Frankie froze. There he is.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
My God. Snowstorm Wi-Fi getting crushed.
Be safe out there.
Going.
Yeah, it still says recording. So I don't know. The last thing I heard was we were just getting started with Mitch McGarry. If we want to go back through that, we could, because we can always. It
was still working.
Did it say recording, Joe, in the corner, or no?
I thought, yeah, it said it on my end.
Okay, cool. Then we're good. I was saying we can always cut it and edit it if we had to.
Be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, long story short, I mean, I just didn't know if I could trust him for my last year. And when I like let it be known that I was interested in transferring, like Billy Donovan like called me, like, I swear to God, he called me like 30 seconds after. And then he was up in Michigan the next day in my living room. So I was just like, this dude is like making moves where my coach is like, this dude I've like dedicated my life to for 4 years is right down the street and he's not coming over. But Billy Donovan flew up from Gainesville, Florida, is in my living room today. Like, so I was just like, I think I gotta go this route. But that being said, Coach Beeline and I we still talk. We have a good relationship. He gives me shit every time I see him about it, but we really do have a good relationship, and there's a lot of mutual respect there. Mm-hmm. So then that's pretty much the reason why I went to Florida, was just because people are like, oh, it's because your brother. I'm like, no, it's not because my brother at all. It's because Billy Donovan, like, you want to go where you wanted. And if the coach shows up like in your living room the next day,
it's tough to say no to that.
It makes you feel like you're wanted. Like, you know,
there's not much more else he could have possibly done to make you feel wanted besides showing up at your door the next day.
Yeah. He was like right there. And I was just like, damn. And then went down there, and I hadn't realized it was kind of a shit show when I got down there, actually. It was kind of a shit show. Good people. But Coach Donovan was pretty much already out the door to OKC. We didn't realize that.
I was going to ask you, that's kind of, he was like teetering right at that point.
Yeah,
I think.
He was pretty much right out the door. We had a tough schedule that year, like maybe the toughest in the country that year. We lost, like, swear to God, 12 games by a possession. It was just a tough year. We had good team, good players, but we just could not pull it together. And that was the only year I was in college that we didn't make the NCAA tournament. But I mean, we were probably a win or two away from making it. And then when you lose like 12 games by one possession, like even one game where one of our teammates, who was a former walk-on who had earned a scholarship, worked super hard, awesome dude, Jake, against Florida State, he accidentally tipped the ball in to the Florida
Your own hoop.
Yeah, it was into our hoop, exactly. Yeah. Into our hoop at the end, like as a buzzer. It's like a buzzer beater, but a reverse buzzer beater. God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was that kind of year. It was that kind of year, and it was just.
That's when you know. That's when you know. Yeah. It's like you can't even get out of your own way when you're playing your ass off trying to do so. Yeah.
A few bounces, you win like 5 more games. You're going in tournament.
Yeah. Like 2 more, maybe even 2 more games. I think we won like 17 or 18 that year. I think 19 or 20 with our schedule would have gotten us in.
Yeah, probably.
Like literally a few more bounces. Like, you
Crazy,
know.
Bro.
Yeah. I'm part of that too. At Florida, at that time, I was shooting like 90-something% from the line for the year. We're playing Kentucky, that Kentucky team with like Karl Towns and I can't remember the kid. I feel like a dick. Kid from Phoenix, Devin Booker. They're just stacked.
Oh yeah,
they were stacked. And I missed 2 free throws at the end. I was like 90-something%. 2 free throws at the end. Just like, you know. So I mean, I was a part of that too. You know, I'm not saying like, oh, it was all them. Like, I definitely fell on my shoulders as well.
That's crazy. What was like, and just a follow-up that popped in my head, what was like a big difference between Big Ten and SEC basketball? Like, was it a big style change? I know, you know, the Big Ten's known for just like, you're going to be physical. You're going to play physical basketball, and a ton of teams. It's such a deep league where I feel like the SEC has like all like a little more flash to it. Maybe like, because you have Kentucky, you have like the one and done, some of those schools. Like, what was some of the differences in the 2 conferences?
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I feel like the talent level was high in both. The biggest difference from a personal standpoint was just the offense that we ran. Florida, it was more a few sets with reads. Not that Michigan wasn't, it was, but Coach Beeline's offense is extensive is the best way to put it. It's extensive. Like there's like, I counted it out one time. It was like, there's like 183 options.
Holy shit.
And a lot of them are like end up being reads. Like if this happens, then this person reacts this way, and then you react this way, and then you react to this. And like, so that was different style of play. I mean, some of the teams that we're playing, I mean, that stat Kentucky team, Arkansas was good in conference that year. I felt top to bottom. I felt like the Big Ten was always better than the SEC, but good players in the SEC. I don't know. I don't remember I don't remember a lot of the details in terms of like exact style of play with things, or like, oh, they score this many more points per game, like on this team or in this league. But I just remember the year just feeling like felt like a fucking shit show of a dream. But that's life sometimes.
For sure.
It sure is, man.
Well, you got the victory lap, and I think everyone hopes they can do 5 years of college. Every college kid wants that extra year. So
I guess they do. I mean, I didn't mind it, but I still I'm still a fan of, if there was a way that they could just let athletes do like the bare minimum while they're going through college, and then allow them to come back when they're done playing so they can actually focus on like academics, or go into, have a major that's a little bit more,
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to say challenging, because I know there are people that do like challenging majors while they're, people are like pre-med while doing basketball, and those people are like incredible. But a lot of us are just like, dude, fuck that. Like, I'm trying to focus on my sport right now. So if they could come back afterwards, I think that would be a much, much better way to go.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways college sports can get better. I think it's pretty apparent these days. A lot of it can be fixed, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that idea too.
Monetization of athletes' likeness, or just name in general, whatever. I think that's a huge step for college.
For sure.
Like, even when we were in college, because like in Ann Arbor, Coach, and like I said, Coach Beelin's like all about us following the rules. But we go to places and we get offered free meals, free drinks, stuff all the time. And if I'm being honest, sometimes we took it. Sometimes, but more often than not, we would turn it down just because we're worried about getting in trouble and it being like an NCAA violation. But the fact that kids can do that now legally, I mean, that helps. The fact that people can make money off of their likeness, I mean, that's awesome. If they can go out of the way and get somebody to come in and be like, hey, like, we want to give you, $5,000 to promote this on your Instagram or whatever. Like, that's not illegal anymore. Like, that's dope.
It's a good step. It's a very
dope.
good step.
Yeah, it's not equal by any means, because obviously, I mean, it's going to favor certain players over others, but it's a step in the right direction for sure. And I don't think it's ever going to be equal. Like, it's just not realistic for it to be that way. So even if it just benefits, a certain type of player, I still think that that's better than the way it was before.
For sure.
Wholeheartedly agree. It's like any person who doesn't go to college or goes to college, doesn't play a sport, doesn't go to college and play a sport, like, they can make money based on how hard they work, and based on how hard they work, they get paid more. Like, you guys are literally faces of sports, like you have people of all ages watching, sitting down, especially in March Madness, like the amount of marketing players should be able to do for themselves just because of how hard you work to get to that point. And now you're putting yourself out there. Like, that's your body of work, and there's other people profiting off of it, and you're seeing nothing but maybe hopefully making the league one day, or being able to market yourself if you're not playing basketball after that. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I mean, the majority of players don't go to the league or don't go like, even from high level colleges, like the majority just don't. So to be able to get like free meals or free drinks and stuff like that, like, that makes a huge difference. Like, Coach Beeline, or Coach Donovan or whoever could go to a restaurant and get all the free meals and all the free drinks they want, but we couldn't, and we needed it way more than you do. Like, you have like a $4 million a year contract.
Seriously.
You guys don't even have time to make your own lunch, let alone try and make some money.
Dude, exactly. So.
That's awesome. But speaking of the athlete's life after sports, so I know you're still grinding your ass off to try and continue playing, and we hope it works out for you. But I was
just joking about that earlier. I'm not actually. I'm retired. I'm like.
Oh, okay. Well, you're telling Dylan you're ready to rock.
No, I train like I'm playing still.
Yeah. Okay.
I train like I'm playing just to stay in shape, and just because, like, for skill development and stuff, it's good to be able to show everything you're trying to teach, and to be able to do it much better than all the kids.
Sure.
Like,
that makes sense.
But
yeah, so my question off of that was, for someone like yourself who's played at an extremely high level of basketball, college, professionally, like, how have you adjusted to that, like, I guess, normal human life? And what other, like, your current plans outside of the app to continue transitioning from the athlete world to the working world?
Dude, in all honesty, I love it. Like I've enjoyed it. My wife and I, we travel a ton. She also has an app-based business. So we do that. She helps me with mine. I help her with hers. We own we do investment properties. I've gotten more involved like socially with like groups. Like I'm the co-chair of a diversity, equity, and inclusion type group in my hometown. I'm actually, funny enough, I'm actually a park commissioner in my county. So for whatever that means, but just like doing like little stuff that I would never think to do when I was playing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like these like opportunities come, and it's just like, you be interested in this, and it's like, I have a little bit more time and it benefits the community in this way. It's like, sure, like I can do that. Like I can be like a normal type person ish.
That's huge.
Oh, I mean, I enjoy it.
Love it.
Very cool. Very cool. Frank and I can't relate, but it's a good question to ask you, of course. But
yeah, we're
so
normal guys.
I think I had a pretty cool
Can't
question.
relate.
I found out that you actually played in like that ESPN, the basketball tournament, all with the alumni teams, right? And like I think it was 2018 you played in that.
God, that was a shit show.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. So you were like OSU and Michigan on your team, right? Was there beef there with you and the Buckeyes, or
No. I don't buy into any of that shit. In all honesty, I'm really not even. In all honesty, I love playing all sports. Like I'll play any sport. I'm not really a sports fan, so like I don't get caught up in like rivalries and stuff. But no, all the dudes on that team, it was cool. I mean, we had, it was like a Big Ten team. Like, we had dudes from Wisconsin, Illinois.
You had Duncan Robinson, right, on that team?
Yeah, Duncan was on the team, but he didn't play. Just because he was holding out, because he was like, maybe I'll get this NBA contract, and he ended up getting the NBA contract.
Dude,
he sure as hell did.
Now. He's a sniper.
Duncan made the right choice.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. But you said it was a shit show. Why was it ran bad?
Yeah. I mean, it was all right. I mean, the guys who run the tournament, they do an all right job. I mean, it was just like a shit show. Like this dude, like the first game we played, this guy he kept diving at my ankles on purpose. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is going on here? And the refs aren't doing anything. I like had a severe high ankle sprain, and I got a concussion that game. And my body's already beat up. Like
getting beat up.
I have a brace on my left leg. I have my lower back locked up. I have a torn labrum on my left shoulder, and I've had it for years. And I've just
saw you on that. I did mine twice.
Same.
So,
that we can relate to. We both did.
Really?
I've had 2 surgeries.
Oh, okay. So you guys got the surgery. I didn't get the surgery because they're just like, you can do strengthening stuff, but it was like subluxing all the time. So I'd just be like doing something, and just like, and then I'd be like, fuck it, it'd be like dead for like 10 minutes, or I can't lift it. I'm like, God damn it. Like, so you guys know, it sucks. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And that would happen like every other month. And I'm just like, God damn it. Do I want to keep doing this?
Joey's used to pop out. So mine was just from baseball. Like I got one, but
Sloshing.
Joey's like just like reaching up to his shelf pops out.
Yeah.
it got bad, man.
Dude, I feel your pain. Oh, it's horrible.
It got bad.
It's horrible.
But yeah, for that guy, I mean, obviously you want to win that tournament, but for that guy to be diving at your ankles for like an ESPN like alumni tournament, that guy's a psychopath.
Bro,
for the money.
I mean,
it's for the money.
I get it. It's for the money, and like, people have different motivations, and I'm not even mad at the dude. I don't remember who he is, but I'm not mad at him. It's just like, that was like literally like the first like minute, and I'm just like, all right, fuck that. Like physically, I'm like, I can't. Like, my ankle's fucked, my knee's already fucked, my lower back fucks up, my shoulder. I'm like, am I gonna keep playing? Like, and then I played one more year, and then I retired after that.
Interesting. Yeah. That tournament is very interesting. When they released it, I was like, this is cool. Because like for Joey and I, as I mentioned, like back in high school, like those were all the dudes that we watched in high school. Like, so like I was like, oh, we know all these names. Like it was fun for people like us to watch. But
absolutely. They get some good. I mean, dude, I have no issues with the tournament. I was just like, damn, bro, like I feel like in a normal like pro setting or even college setting, like you got to eject like people trying to play dirty. And there's a lot of people
Right.
trying to
Oh,
play
yeah.
dirty because people are trying to get the money. Like, and I get that, but I'm not motivated in that way. So I'm just like, fuck this. Like,
That's hilarious.
so.
All right, I got one more serious question that we'll hit you with the quick hitters. I was doing some research. I went on Wikipedia. Who knows how realistic Wikipedia is?
I've never
But
read it, so I don't know.
all right, well, it did say that you had some interest in ancient Chinese literature in college. Joey and I are very deep thinkers. We're out of the box guys as well. So I want to know how you became interested in ancient Chinese literature, if that's true, and then like what type of like insight did that provide for you in school and for current day?
So it is true. So the book they're probably referring to is the Tao Te Ching. And it's one of my favorites. And it's just I believe 81 verses from a person or a collection of people no one actually knows. It was like a title. Lao Tzu is like a title. But and it's basically just it's like philosophical text for ways to think about life. And it was something I got into when I was like 17, 18. One of my coaches at Michigan actually gave me my first like philosophical book, and it was the Tao Te Ching, a version of the Tao Te Ching. And yeah, I've been a voracious reader of philosophy ever since, particularly more so Stoicism, not necessarily like the modern interpretations of Stoicism, but like the actual texts, like Seneca's like On Anger, on the Shortness of Life, Epictetus's Enchiridion, Marcus Aurelius's what's Marcus Aurelius's book? Meditations, stuff like that. Just to put things in perspective. I think that's the best part about philosophy, is it just helps to put life in perspective, because a lot of times we get so caught up in these trivial things and the opinions of other people, and assuming that attaining a certain position in life, making it to the NBA and being an all-star, or becoming a CEO, or making $100 million by the time you're 30, like, are these things that will lead you to this everlasting, sustainable fulfillment. And they actually don't at all, like not even a little bit. One story that comes to mind that I was just like, yeah, it makes so much sense was Billy Donovan was talking about, because we used to do these little like powwow weekly meeting things. And he was talking about how he had told himself for so long that he needed to win a national championship. He fell short in 2000. He's like, I just need to win a national championship. He's like, I don't feel good about myself. Like, but if I win a national championship, then it'll justify, everything I've ever thought about myself and all the effort I've put into this. And then he's like, he won that first national championship. My brother's actually on that team. And he was just like, he said he woke up the next day and still felt just as empty and shitty as he did the day before. And he was like, what the fuck? He was like, maybe if we win another one.
Yeah, dude, once you hit that goal, you're like, well, now what?
Exactly. So
you just keep chasing stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. The chase never ends. If that's what, if that's what you think is going to bring you fulfillment, like you're in for a rude awakening. Another one that comes to mind, it's just easy. Like these are just like applicable stories. Like Ben Wallace was one of the owners of Grand Rapids Drive, the last place I played pro. And he came in and talked to us one time. You guys know who Ben Wallace is, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer if he's not already. I don't think he is, but 4-time defense player of the year, champion, multiple time All-Star, whatever, made tens of millions of dollars. And he comes in, he's talking to us, and he's like, he's a rambler. So he goes off for about 45 minutes, like, man, you guys got to get out of the G League. like it should be your motivation, get to the NBAs, like the cars and the money, and everybody's gonna love you and they're gonna want to take pictures with you and all this stuff. And then for like 30 seconds, 2 minutes before he wrapped up, he was like, when my career was over, I did fall into a deep depression because all the people who were around all the time weren't really around anymore. And it felt like people had only wanted to be around me because of, who I was when I was in the NBA. And it's like, I felt like I had no friends. And he was like, it was the darkest period of my life. And he's like, but fortunately I had, people like Steve came into my life and brought me up and got me involved with this. And it's like, and now I'm feeling a lot better about myself. So, man, you got to get to the league, man. I was just like, whoa.
You can't just skip over that part.
Bro, go back to that other part. Go back to that other part, because that's literally what all of these guys need to hear. Because, more so than anyone else, because the majority of us, weren't going to have, the NBA careers that maybe we dreamed of someday. But the gift is realizing that it's not fatal. A lot of times it's, oh man, if I don't achieve this, like my life is over. And then you don't achieve it and you're fucking fine. Like, it's okay. Like, you're not your accomplishments, and you're not necessarily even what people think of you. Like, finding peace with who you are, yourself, and liking yourself and being content with yourself is priceless, and it's something that people struggle with always. And I think that's another thing the philosophy taught me, was just that we think that we can get to a place where we don't feel like, those insecurities, and we don't feel like we need to do more, or we don't feel like we have to impress other people. But what philosophy's actually taught me is that those things never go away, no matter how intelligent or enlightened or well-read you become. You just learn to recognize those things quicker and to dismiss them faster, but they never go away. Like, it never goes away. No one ever gets to the point where they're just like completely perfectly zen and never feel anxiety or anger or anything. Those things never go away. You just learn how to deal with them and recognize and deal with them quicker. So, I mean, I would say those are some of the main benefits I've gotten from reading philosophy and continuing to read philosophy. I'm a avid like rereader. Like, I love to reread text. Just because I feel like every time I go back, I notice something that I didn't notice before. So, that's what philosophy.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Joe, we've interviewed over 30 people and we've asked a lot of questions, and that was the most favorite question I've ever asked, just because of your answer. Like, I had no idea where the conversation was going to go after I asked that question, but like, to Joey's point, like, I love hearing about that insight, and I'm glad it also kind of ties back to the question I asked you earlier about how you've adjusted to life outside of the game. And it just shows how, like, I guess in some sort of zen that you are, because you realize that whatever the extrinsic motivations of what it is to be like an NBA player, like, you found things like that were intrinsic to you that matter most to you, that matter more than the rings, the money, the cars, like, and you seem like you're in a really good spot. And that's super, super out of the box thinking. And I appreciate that. And I'm glad I asked the question, because that was a hell of a thought process.
Yeah, you guys should check out some of the books though. I'm telling you, and most of them are really short text. Meditations is pretty meaty, but like On the Shortness of Life is pretty short. The Tao Te Ching is, like I said, it's 81 verses. They're short, but it's dense thinking. Enchiridion, the manual, it's short. As a Man Thinketh is normally the first one I give to people when they ask, like, oh, what should I read philosophy-wise? As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Short.
I've heard of that one before.
Really good.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Really good. Really good.
All right. Love that.
Oh.
Love that. All right, Joe, we can lighten it up though with the quick hitters.
We'll stop blowing minds.
All right. I'll go first. Got 2 one-on-one battles. You versus Big Al, who's winning, and then you versus your pops. Maybe we'll turn your pops back a couple of years when he was balling like you guys.
Yeah. And that's the crazy part. Al and I have never played one-on-one.
Really?
Wow.
Not a single time. We're super competitive, and we've gotten into fights off of just like shooting. When we were younger, not so much anymore, but the competitiveness definitely comes out. I don't know. I would say I would probably win. I would probably win. I could say that. But I don't know. One-on-one's actually my strongest.
That was the team guy. He's the glue guy. You can go out there and beat him up.
I'm in the same boat. I mean, most of my career was literally just hitting people really hard and grabbing rebounds.
So I'm so beat up now.
One-on-one versus your brother is always different though, because like no matter what the skill level or age difference or like height difference or weight difference could be, like my little brother, like he's smaller than me, but like we've played each other so many times, like there's times he'll beat me just simply off the fact like he'll know my moves, like he'll take away something, like I'm,
Yeah, and he's a great player, but if you actually ask him, he'll tell you I'm more skilled than he is. Like basketball, like just
take that and run with it.
Pure skill wise, yeah. But I would give the edge to him, especially right now. And my dad's not beating either one of us. Even in his prime, he's not. He didn't have this skill. He was just an athletic, tall freak of nature. 7'1", 40-inch vertical.
Jeez.
Monster, just cut up. Like, yeah.
Beast.
Some good genes right there.
Right.
Not bad.
All right, your favorite part about the Final Four run?
Dude, my favorite part about the Final Four run was probably I don't know, man. Team-wise, me and Nick Stauskas just had some hilarious conversations during the Final Four run. Like, I don't know why, but he's a funny dude. He's a funny dude.
He's definitely got a personality. His tweets are funny.
Yeah, he's a funny about that life, kind of dude. So just our conversations, I would say, were probably the best part of the Final Four run. And just, I don't know, just the excitement, because you always say, like we would say every day, like, national champions on 3, 1, 2, 3, national champions. So we had that in our mind, but to actually like take the steps to make it there, because that was actually one of the years we didn't win the Big Ten that year. We lost it by a half game. I think Ohio State and Michigan State won the Big Ten that year. So we didn't even win the Big Ten. We didn't win anything that year technically. We didn't win the Big Ten tournament. We didn't win the conference. We lost in the championship game. But it was such a good year, just a lot of fun. And we had such a tough run. It was like Kansas, Syracuse, a tough VCU team. One of the Dakotas we played against, like in the first round. And then Louisville in the finals. It was a tough run. And yeah, I mean, it didn't end the way that we wanted it to, but hats off to Louisville. They got it done.
Well, so my next question, quick one, would love to hear the emotions or feel the emotions of the Trey Burke 3 against Kansas, and then also wanted to ask you if you think that Trey's block on Peyton Siva was clean.
I mean, we're pretty hype. I mean, it's one of those things like, what were you thinking? Like, dude, I don't know. I think I blacked out.
Yeah, that's what funny.
I don't remember anything. Mitch set a screen and then like fell on the ground.
I watched the video again today. I watched it. Just like
on the ground.
Yeah. Yes. He
Okay,
did.
Yeah. He sets his screen, falls on the ground. It's just like, then Trey just
Trey launched it.
Leaves this shit up and just bang. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Crazy times to think about. And then the block. I think I see why the ref could have called it a foul. Up top, it's clean, but I think he got body a little bit. But at the same time, with that much time on the clock in the national championship game, bro, put your fucking whistle in your pocket. But at the same
time, play.
Yeah, but it may have been a foul. I don't know. I mean, everyone looks at games and they're like, oh, is that play in the last, minute or two that did it? Like, dude,
hell no.
It's equally You know, those 2 turnovers in the first 2 minutes, or
Right. The play that no one remembers because it wasn't like
Exactly.
blown up by the media or in crunch time. Yeah.
It's
I
like
got you.
it's just as much that play as it was this play. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. It was just, I mean, it was cool to be there, and it was, I mean, I don't know, it was cool to be there. It was dope to see Spike go off. That was really good for him. That was good for Spike's confidence in life. He'll hate me for saying this, but it'll be okay. But I swear to God, it changed who he was as a person, like confidence wise. Like I swear to God, he didn't sleep with a girl in college before that, and then after that, it just like he just
dragging him.
He just took it and ran with it. It gave him the confidence he needed to start closing deals. And
there we go.
Yeah.
All right, who is the toughest guy you had to guard in college basketball? Any year.
In all honesty, the guy that sticks out in my mind, it's just like, dude, he's a fucking load. Is 2 guys pop into my head personally. Big Ten wise, it would be Jared Sullinger and Trevor Mbakwe from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor was like one of the strongest people I've ever played against. And then SEC, I would say Carl was pretty tough. Carl was pretty
big
tough.
boy. He's huge.
Carl was pretty tough.
And Sullinger was a stud at OSU. He was
he was like a small, like not like typical like 6'10", 6'11" big guy. He was a little 6'8", 6'9", but he was like a wide body.
Dude, yeah, wide body, good footwork.
Yeah.
Good finisher. Just yeah.
Tough battles. Damn.
Tough. They had good teams.
Yeah.
They had good teams.
All right, so this is my last one. Toughest arena you had to play in. We'll go one in the SEC. I mean, you're there for a year, but one in the SEC, then any of the ones in the Big Ten.
SEC, nothing really sticks out to me. I guess playing at Kentucky is tough.
Yeah.
But the one arena that just sticks out in my mind, I think it was my last year at Michigan. Was it my last year at Michigan? We were playing Indiana, and it was the Indiana team with like Cody Zeller and Oladipo, and they were tough. And it's Indiana. It's like a high slant.
Yep.
Just that old dome.
Like these people are on top of you, and you look into the crowd, and there's like this 87-year-old ma and pa, like, fuck you.
like Hoosiers. It's like
there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there but basketball.
Like, dude, calm the fuck down. Like, someone's gonna have to take you to the fucking hospital. Like, you're about to have a fucking aneurysm. But we were like number 1 and maybe we were like both top 5. But I remember I was starting that game, and we got into the game, and I went for a steal right away on their guard, and I thought I had it, and it was so loud I couldn't hear that the whistle was blowing. I couldn't hear that the whistle had blown, so I'm just like dribbling down like I'm gonna go like, oh hell yeah, like I'm starting to get
I'm gonna cram this shit.
And then it's like, oh no. And then like a timeout got called, and we went and sat on the bench, and I'm looking at coach, and they're screaming so loud. He's like 3 feet in front of me. I can't hear a fucking thing he's saying.
Wow.
And I think I went in the game and fucked something up, and he was like, all right, Jordan, get him the fuck out of the game. And I was just like, dude, I can't fucking hear you. Like, it's so like, dude, it was crazy. It was crazy fucking loud. Crazy loud and crazy aggressive. And just to see people in like their 80s, like screaming their hearts out. Like, I love that they have that type of passion at that age still, but it's like, what the fuck? But yeah, that was
Indiana, man. That's basketball country.
The Hoosiers.
Yep.
Shit. Yeah, that's the one. The Michigan State was always pretty tough.
Yeah.
But the Indiana one just sticks out because I literally couldn't hear fucking shit. Like, it's never been that. Like, I couldn't fucking hear.
Did you like even like hear the ball dribble like when you had it? Like
barely. barely. That timeout just sticks out in my mind because coach is trying to get us together and telling us some shit, and he's drawing it up on the board. I'm like, dude, I can't hear a fucking thing that's coming out of your mouth right now. Like,
Wow.
I literally can't fucking hear you. And I think we lost that game. But we ended up winning the Big Ten so maybe that was the year before. I don't know what year that was. But my last year, we won the Big Ten by like 4 games. So we like dominated the Big Ten. But I don't know if it was that year. I think it was that year. Maybe? I don't fucking know. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
It's all ancient history now.
It fucking is.
Yeah, it is. Embedded forever in history.
Something like that.
But we appreciate you, man. This is we appreciate your time. This is much longer than we expected. We didn't want to take too much of your evening, so thank you for for this.
Yeah, sorry for rambling on a little too long.
No, it was awesome.
I appreciate you guys. It was a lot of fun, and if there's ever anything I can do to help you guys out, I could even, try to bother some of my old teammates and see if they'll get on.
We'll take it.
We're always open.
That.
Yeah, just feel free to hit me up whenever. So
awesome, bro.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Jon. Well, you have a good one, and we'll definitely be in contact in the future for sure.
All right, sounds good. Take it easy, guys.
I'm in.
See you, bro.